All right, so this is a Monstrousitous minute. I don't know which one. It's welcome back to Coach Dave. As he calls himself, he's the Daddy Savage. So let's hear the voice.
Ooh, yeah, Jeff. Let me tell you something. Oh, yeah.
So before we got on here, we were having a conversation about which is better, the pancake or the waffle, because every Saturday morning in the Lee house, it's pancake morning. Dave says it's waffles, and I want to know why.
Waffles just go better with peanut butter than pancakes.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge syrup guy. So
I got you. There was I don't remember what the name of it was. It was like to find the new WWF wrestler. Tough Enough. It was called Tough Enough. There was this guy on there that was like in the finals. His name was Hawk, and he made something called the Hawk Witch to keep his weight up, which is peanut butter and waffles. He made it as a sandwich, and he just ate them by the day. He loved it. So the Hawk Witch is also very, very awesome. So I want you to know that.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, he made it as like a sandwich. And I make the boys a Hawk Witch every once in a while before school with Eggos. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Cool. So Dave brought Dave back on. We were talking on the phone last night. I don't remember what we were talking about. Like a lot of things, I believe. And we decided, hey, we haven't done one of these in a while, so now it's time. So Dave, I'm going to let you go off with the first topic, and I'll run with it from there.
The first topic?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
I have an interesting one because I don't know if you've addressed this on here yet.
Yep.
Shit, it's been almost a year, hasn't it, too?
Yep.
So you hired Keith Vincey, who passed about a year ago, to be your assistant at Canisius.
Yep.
How did he make you a better coach, even though he was your assistant?
You talk about how he came to me first, because I never talked about that. He was an intern at Binghamton. He came through the same program I came through. My wife told me about him. So there's this guy that's from Connecticut, and I was at Yale at the time. And he says he's freaking nuts and he's Italian. I think you would like him. So I met him at Binghamton one of the weekends where I would go up to see her. I think I met her in the weight room that day. But yeah, I met him. We hit it off, and that was like the last time I saw him. And he disappeared for another year or so. And I just forget about things between now and then. But when I got to Canisius, we had a GA spot that was open, and Emil, my mentor, it's like, I got a girl for you. They'll make them happy if you hire this girl. Just make the program happy. So I brought her in there, and dude, I could not have been more turned off by a person in terms of like their personality and what I thought they could bring to the table. Because I'm kind of the character. I need someone to bounce things off of. And so I offered her the job. It was the right thing to do. It was the only person I had at the time. And then my buddy John Hark, who was the head guy at Marshall, I called him. I was talking to, hey, do you have anybody that's intern through you? Do you have someone that might be interested? He's like, yeah. You remember Vincey from Binghamton? I was like, yeah. He's looking to get back into it. Chiropractic school wasn't the thing for him. So I call him up and I said, look, just from what I know about you, everything that everyone said, I want you to take the job, but I got this girl that I've offered it to already. She doesn't answer me by tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Guess what? I'm hiring you. So just pack your shit and let's go. Didn't get back to me. I emailed her very respectfully. And I said, look, you didn't get back to me today like you said you were going to. It's tomorrow. I need someone now. And that was the end of it. She was like, oh, sorry. You had a deadline. It was today.
Yeah.
And now it's tomorrow. So it worked out perfect, man. But like, he was such a fucking crazy dude, though. Like, he came up there. Like, every picture you see of Vincey, he's bald. He's got his head shaved, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he had this long black hair, like he was some kind of 80s punk rocker when he came up there. and
was he still a baby face then, though?
No, he always was. He had a goatee and all.
Okay.
But he walks in, I'm like, the fuck is this? What's this? He's like, oh, I'm just trying something new. Like, yeah, it looks like it. So we had housing set up for him. It was free housing for me. It was free housing for him up there. And Told him about it. He's like, no, man, I'm good. I'm at this hostel. Like, what? Yeah, I'm staying at this hostel down the road. I met these dudes from Europe. They're cool dudes. Like, give me another day and I'll move. Like, okay. So like 3 or 4 days pass, he's still in this hostel. He's having a freaking blast up there. Just, I don't know, man. He was such a character. But back to your original question. He is the guy that I think steered me towards the mindset I had today with training. He trained with Vincent DeCenzo. Like, he was a big elite FTS guy. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what Westside was. We did Westside things at Citadel, but I couldn't tell you what it really was, though. And that took me down this freaking rabbit hole over the next year. I mean, I read everything that we could find on Conjugate, Westside, Elite FTS. I bought all the beginner manuals. Me and him went through the beginner manual by just training. We did as our training for a while just to go through it. And we picked up some other things along the way, and I started calling and talking to Jim Windler, getting quotes and whatnot to try to build that weight room. And he linked me to a lot of people I don't think I ever would have got linked to. So in terms of like his personality, he brought a complete level of balance to me. Because I was like, fuck you all. You're all going to suffer. And he's just so happy all the time. So like the 2007 version of me is much different than what you saw in 10 and 11. Like, I was just all about burying people. Just didn't care. Like, we're going to get after it. We're going to have fun. But the fun's more on my end. But like, he brought such a level of balance, taught me so much. Now, he was truly like an assistant.
Right. Even though he was a GA, he was completely ready to be a assistant or a head at that moment.
Not ready to be a head yet, but he was fully ready to be a full-fledged assistant, and he was to me. I mean, we wouldn't have functioned without that, because he dealt with all the coaches that he had. I would check in periodically, but I mean, hell, he had a thing on lock. Like, he knew exactly how to talk to people. We bounced ideas off of each other all the time, kind of like we did, and just, I don't know, man. Like, we developed a true program there. And like my boss, Tracy, like I told her, it's like, look, he's got an offer at Pitt. I'm telling him to go take it for an assistant job. She's like, well, what is going to happen with you? You're not going to leave, right? Well, no, I'm not. And a month later, I was out, went down to SEMO. I called Keith and I pled with him. I was like, man, come back and take the job. He's like, can't do it. Already signed the contract. So he was one of those guys that was like true to his word. If he signs something, he's going to fulfill it. I don't think he enjoyed so much the experience at Pitt with like the head guy head girl was a freaking maniac. And I don't think he saw eye to eye with her, but in terms of like the program he put out and together with the head coaches, they all loved him.
On that track of dealing with coaches.
Yep.
When you think about a team,
yep,
and a team comes to the weight room, the teams that were the easiest to work with,
yes,
from being on time, doing what they're supposed to do, like handling their business, how does that relate to the head coach and how the head coach coaches their team?
Everything is driven through the head coach. The head coach doesn't believe in it, it's not going to happen. Period. I think that if we're able to speak really honestly, I think that women's basketball coaches typically are some of the easiest people to work with because they're so driven. Like, they know exactly what has to happen. Men's basketball can be that way. It just depends on who you have and what their personality is and what their background on training is. Things are starting to change now, where they recognize that, like, this isn't something that's going away.
Right.
Like, when I started off, it's like, well, whatever, we play basketball. It was 2004-ish. So when I first really got into it, and it's like, whatever, we're gonna go play, and if we go lift weights, good. But I think the mentality of things have really changed. A lot comes down to makeup of the sport, though, too. Like, if you're someone that really has to have physical contact, they understand that that's something that's important.
Right. Like,
baseball is one that I think is another one that came along and really understood. Ever since I've been in this, 20 years now, baseball understands that. Look, steroid era taught you that. If you're bigger and you're stronger, then you can throw a ball faster. You can hit a ball farther. You can help us out better. You're more resilient. You can play more games.
Yeah. I was just I had that thought after we talked last night.
Yeah. They call all drives to the head coach, though. They don't believe in what you're doing. It's, with Ishii at SEMO, he didn't give a shit. So the girls didn't give a shit. So that carried through until, I'm assuming, what this new basketball coach is there for the women.
Don't forget to do your push-ups and your sit-ups, lady.
Yeah, but that guy was just in there to be a mouth.
Yeah, I know.
There was nothing else. I mean, he had nothing to bring to the table. He didn't really believe in it. It's hard to develop true mindset with the athlete when the coach itself doesn't think it's fucking worth it. That makes sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I was even thinking from a discipline standpoint.
Oh, for sure.
Less about if the coach believes in it, it's gonna get done. That's why you never have to worry about football coaches.
Yep.
But if you have a football team where the coach doesn't instill discipline,
it's your job.
They're allowed to do what they want and skip class and all that, how does that impact weights?
Okay, so we had that situation sort of at SEMO. He was more academically, he was more like, you guys better be there. But weights wise, when I first arrived, guys just weren't showing up. They wouldn't show up to morning lift. And finally, Will Hyde, the defensive back coach, came to me like, look, you better put your foot down or these guys are going to run. And I did what I did. I got them in line and I wrecked their world.
Black Monday.
No, I mean, for our travel guys, I always stayed back because I would travel to Louisville. But our travel guys would come in and lift with me in the morning. And I ran 15 guys off the team. They all quit.
Were you traveling to Louisville the whole time you were at SEMO every weekend?
Yes, unless it was a home game.
I think you went to one home game the year I was there.
Possibly. I was at least all but maybe one. I missed Jack State was one I wanted to go to, but it was my sister-in-law's senior night, so I went to that instead. Go to Tennessee Tech and watch her play. But Jack State's the one I wish I would have went to because we were like, man,
that close.
Would have stayed in position, he would have picked that pass. He would have won the game. Outright would have won it. But he decided to not drop back into cover two. So I don't know. It's frustrating. For a picture of Keith, I'm not sure I've even put up any of this stuff about him. Let me show this real quick.
Yeah. I hear the chaos in the background over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was about a year ago, man. It was about a year ago I went out there to go see him. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. All right, sorry about that, man.
No, that's fine.
It's just fucking chaos with those young two. They just want to fight all the time. They love it. They love to fight. You wanted to talk about Keith. I mean, this time of year, it's tough for me on a lot of aspects. It's about this time. I'll show you this real quick. But it was I had a guy, Terrence Mitchell, that worked with me. He's from South Africa, but I bought his program. It's called 30 Days of Discipline. It was all calisthenics and kettlebells, It was all calisthenics. The first one was all calisthenics. I did it during COVID because I had a lot of time on my hands after all this, all this madness. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I found him, and he was in South Africa, and Brandon Lilly kind of pointed me to him because he was doing some training with him too. But Terrence really got me back on track. because I was really in a really freaking bad headspace during that time. Just in terms of like work, even prior to it, but like with work and walked into this teaching job every day and they called me a different name every day. Like they didn't know who I was. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like, I blew up all this lady was like the academic coach. She's calls me the wrong name. Oh, hey, Mr. Whitehouse, how are you today? I said, look at her finally. It's been 5 fucking months and you don't know my name. Like, pull your head out of your ass. And then next week we were sent home for COVID. But anyway, like I was out of training completely during that year. I just didn't do anything. Just didn't feel like doing anything. And I found Terrence, and that was, kind of where things kind of shifted for me entirely. But around this time in 2021, I believe it was, like the dude freaking passed away unexpectedly. Like made no sense at all. Like he was in inside of his house,
Yeah.
And gun fell out of his holster because South Africa it's kind of the Wild West. But fell out, shot him in the chest, and the fucking dude was gone. So it's like we were like in the middle of training. Like he had me putting up some stupid numbers on, like with kettlebell stuff and whatnot. But he also was just a really cool dude. Like I don't think I'd had the relationship with my dad I do now, unless I'd talked to Terrence about things. He kind of talked me through a lot of these things. For being a guy that was younger than me, like he brought a lot of insight into things. So, like I say, this time of year for me is just fucking rough. Keith passed away last year, and Terrence passed away 2 years before that, and it's just like, man, just doesn't make any sense with all these young people dropping dead. So, my wife had this conversation with me. She's like, "Oh, you never had anybody that's truly close to you die." Like, okay, yeah, her mom passed away. I understand that. That was a while ago, and that fucking hit me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, these two guys are the only people I can ever remember crying after they died, ever. Not even my family, nothing. Grandma, grandpa, whatever. You're old. And these people actually hit me. So I don't know. Does that make me a bad person? You got a psychologist for a wife. I mean, does that make me a bad person?
No. I also like operate in the same sphere with that mindset.
Mean what?
Like you're old. Like
yeah.
Like
it's expected.
It's like it sounds crass, and flippant, but like, man, I watch.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I was just say it sounds flippant and crass, but I've watched way too many nature's metal videos to not understand that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we have modern medicine, so we're not exactly out in the woods getting mauled by cougars or bears, but
things happen.
Yeah,
like I said, these two guys are the only one that's really ever hit me. Because I mean, like I wasn't past like the year that me and Keith worked together. We weren't super close, but shit, we talked once a month. So I don't know. That maybe just makes me a little different, a little odd. But like I don't understand like the young people dying of like weird shit. Like fucking turbo cancer. I don't get that. I'll go have a talk. Say, hey man, I beat cancer. Great job. You're in the hospital and you're dead within 4 months. I don't understand that part. Just I don't know. I like to think that there's a God out there that has some kind of plan for things, but I think it's that makes me question everything.
Yeah, your plan sucks, dickhead.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. And then there's like, oh well, does it make you realize the things that you have? And for me, it doesn't. It just makes me fucking angry.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that was the only thing that was really on my mind. It's like two guys that truly changed the trajectory of things for me. Was those guys. Like Keith, I never would have learned the things that I had learned unless it was with him. And I passed that shit on to Emil too. And Emil even does some of that stuff now that we talked about.
That's basically how you taught me.
Yeah. I mean, you pass along what's good and you shed what's not. And
you keep building the bigger house because the foundation is better.
Yep. Cool. What else is up with you, man? How's the training?
My training,
Yeah, how's yours?
it's okay. Like I miss so having a kid
Mm-hmm.
and then stacking a 60-hour weeks during
Yeah.
basketball season, which I'm 2 weeks away from that not being the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I have to find time to train.
Yep.
So, and when I do have time, I have 45 minutes average. Sometimes I can squeeze an hour.
Yep.
Most of the time it's closer to 45, 30 minutes. So,
Mm-hmm.
this time of year I go back to 1x20 because I can fly through a workout.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I like it. It's a great program, but there's days where you just want like put another wheel on,
Yep. Yep.
put another wheel on,
Yep.
and you just want to just move heavy weights for singles and doubles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when you're doing singles and doubles, you can get into more like I like West Side style dynamic effort work.
Yep.
I enjoy that, and
Yep.
and the way I'm structured my training right now, I can't do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I
you
miss
just thought
that.
of going down to like the 3 lifts a day. You have the William Lewis trilogy. You have that book.
Yeah,
You have trilogy.
yeah,
Yeah, look at that one because everything with him was 3 lifts a day. Even like he lays out how you would do max effort, dynamic effort on 3 days a week, on 3 lifts a day, and it's pretty neat. Like there was I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the head strength coach at Morehead State for a long time, and one of them he called it was his cycle because it was based everything off dynamic effort, and like his dynamic effort, he looked at that as being his max effort, like whatever he could move dynamically, he knew that would have a direct impact on what his top end work would be. But I can't remember the name of the guy.
it's Rhodes.
No.
Oh,
It's not Rhodes. It's not Rhodes.
before Rhodes.
He was the guy that I went down to interview for his spot when he left. I can't think of his name.
Oh,
But he might have went to Kentucky after that. I'm not sure where he went to, but it's specifically with his name, and it's his cycle because he said he could base all of his projected meat stuff of his projected 1 rep maxes off his dynamic work. But anyway, he lays out cycles of how you would do 3 lifts a day and max effort, dynamic effort. To me, it doesn't seem like it's too intensive in terms of time. But I also get all my lifts done in about 30, 35 minutes.
Over the summer, I was doing something similar. I was basically like, first movement, I was like kind of like tier. So I was rotating squat, bench, and deadlift throughout the week. Tier 1 was max effort. I call it the Phenom loading scheme. I basically have taken 5-3-1 and spread it out across 9 weeks.
Yep.
The
what now?
I call it the Phenom loading.
Dude, I can appreciate you naming a cycle after yourself. I can appreciate that. I can truly appreciate that.
And then tier 2, my second tier movement was I don't remember whether second tier for me was dynamic effort or hypertrophy, like a repetition effort, and then tier 3 was vice versa. I think this summer I went max rep dynamic.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to get more out of that repetition effort than the dynamic effort that was just in there as kind of just because I like it.
Yep.
And then, so I was doing that 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week I would go run. And then when I was done running, that's when I would hit my accessories. So I hit some rows, GHRs, abs, arms, things like that.
I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I did it, and then I kind of took like it was 15. I was doing 15 to 20, 3 to 4 sets of 15 to 20, kind of like
accessory stuff.
What stuff?
The accessories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Kind of like how when Dr. Scott in his Fortitude book does his high rep stuff, kind of model it off of that.
I like that.
Just get a good pump, especially since I'm already tired.
Yep. I'm with you on that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I wish I had time to train like that. I really like that. I also really liked boring but big.
Yeah. Yeah. I could never get to that at all. I just, when it comes down to this doing sets of 10 on squat, I refuse to do it.
Boring but big.
I just,
It's the
I think it's,
deadlifts. It's the deadlifts that got me on that one.
Yep.
Not the squats.
I can see that too. Like in terms of squatting super high volume with a bar on my back, I just won't do it. I can't do it.
Even with a safety bar?
Even with a safety bar, I won't do it. I got this belt squat now. Got this belt squat now that attaches to my rack, and dude, I'll belt squat all day. But I think it makes me feel better too at the end of it because it pulls a little bit of traction, on the low back. But I think that makes me feel better, and I can kind of target more to where I want to feel it at. Like if I want to feel it more in the hamstrings, like I just move the thing up a notch higher, or I put like a aerobic step underneath my feet, and I can get deeper on there. But Scott does something that he called fives in the hole, which I really like that. Like for accessory work and for like belt squatting, it's really good too. Where it's like 5 full reps partials, 5 partials, 4 partials, 3 full reps, 3 partials, and so on, all the way down to 1 full rep, and then you could take those partial reps as far as you want to take it.
I think I just threw up in my mouth thinking about those.
Why? I think it's awesome.
I mean,
especially for accessory work, it's awesome because it's quick and it's brutal.
it's just one of those things where it's just sounds hard, and when you're done, you want to lay on the floor in a heap of.
Yep. Like I did for my YouTube, I did a video of like hammer curls with it. And my arms never freaking hurt so damn bad after that. It wasn't even funny. So I like it a lot for accessory stuff though. I also like mechanical drop sets on things like push downs and whatnot. I like that a lot too.
Mechanical drop sets.
Yeah, where you go from like most advantageous, which would be your heaviest, to least. It's pretty nice. Cool. Anything else on your mind? I'm gonna wrap it up and eat some
not really. It's just basketball season.
Yep.
Practice started this week, so now we're dealing with that change. And so my coach, we're training 4 days a week. She had scheduled 4 days a week till we started playing games, but after 1 week of practice, we're going down to 3 days a week.
That's where we'll land at 1.
You'll land at 1?
Oh, I think
no,
so.
We'll probably stay at 2 once we get in season. We'll do Monday. We play Wednesday, Saturday. Most weeks we'll train Monday and Thursdays. So Monday will be heavy bench, heavy squat, 1 or 2 other movements, and then Thursday I'll just make a pump day. We'll probably do like med ball throws and pump and just pump work.
Yeah, then you get some blood moving, especially after playing.
Yeah. So
kind of a hard one to get through to coaches is that you don't need to do as much as you think you need to do.
No, we were talking about training every day in season. And I was like, we do that workouts of 30 minutes.
No, that wouldn't be me. The conversation would be, this is 15 minutes and we're out. So I was at Yale with hockey. We would lift post game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd come down, and it was basically a circuit and a flush. Like they'd get on the bike for part of that circuit, and everything else was like it got some slide board work just to get them moving, and then everything else is single leg or like a single joint just to get everything flushed out. And they'd come back in one time during the week, and it would be like you're talking about your heavy stuff. But the post game stuff, like it worked out really well for them. But I think it's completely unrealistic unless you are at that level where that's your only thing to worry about, or they're professionals. Mm-hmm. If they're professionals, it totally changes everything.
So the last few years in the NBA, because they still wanted to play 82 games.
Yep.
But because of COVID, and the bubble, like we're gonna start the season later. I think this year's the first year where they're going back to 82 on what it was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of the strength coaches started doing is if they played on a Wednesday,
yep,
and had Thursday was going to be an off day, they'd
Mhm.
come in the morning for shoot around. They'd hit their accessories.
Yep.
They'd come in for pregame. They'd do some jumps and throws. And then after the game, that was their heavy lift. And then that way, when they got back on Thursday, like
Done.
it can be our off day because now we don't have to bring you in to train. Like it's have an off day.
I like that.
See you on Friday for practice because
Yeah.
we're going to play again on Saturday.
Go ahead and buy some blow and some hookers. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I don't know, man. I feel like training could be so much different if I feel it's like the education system where it could be so much better, but it's not. You follow me on that?
I mean, it could be better, and I don't know. I think the bigger where I probably disagree with you is kind of the methods and the means.
I mean,
But we're trying to
right.
We want to solve the same problem.
Yep.
We're just going to solve it a different way.
Yep. Like I would like to see. I want to know exact training logs that like the Russian national team was using, and post the fall of the wall, and post. No, I'm sorry. Before like the fall of the Soviet Union, like what were they doing with their hockey teams? What were they doing with their sprinters? What were they doing with their basketball teams? Like I think that's probably the answer to a lot of it is to go back to what they were doing because you're talking about a homogenous group. You're not like the U.S. where you have people from all over the world that have kind of settled here. Like that's a homogenous group of people that you can look at. You'd be like, okay, well, if it's all like basically the same makeup, how do they get so good? And don't say drugs because that's not the answer. You follow what I mean? Like truly get all their logs and look at what did they do, how did they do it, when did they do it. I think if you go back to a model like what they used, I think you'd find the answer.
Yeah, that would be a part of it. And a big part of it is when you have state-sponsored sport and everyone at the age of 3 starts gymnastics.
Talent ID and all that. Yeah, I understand
yeah,
that.
and then as they age out, they're like figure skating, weightlifting, soccer, basketball, hockey, wrestling, and you start timing their specialization based off of anthropomorphic data and performance data.
Yep.
And then you throw it's Eastern Bloc, but it's Bulgarian, not Russian. Like, now I can't think of the coach's name. Who's a Bulgarian weightlifting coach?
Don't know. Is he the guy with the United States now? They pulled some guy from over there.
Oh, it's Abajev, wasn't it? That they maxed out 3 times a day.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes it's about having more eggs to break than the other guy. That's part of the reason why we're so great. We win so many medals is because we just got more eggs to break.
Yep.
I mean, somebody's going to be the outlier and survive crappy training to succeed.
For sure. Like anymore, it's just letting your kids play more sports.
Oh yeah, from a long-term athletic development model, it's more about exposure to skill than it is about training. Like
for sure.
I'm pretty sure next summer I'm going to have a golf club in my kid's hand.
Let's start them off with that. No reason not to.
Right. But golf, like that's where I want to start. You could say, well, I just think that rotational skills are so important. It's not super important in basketball, but you'd be surprised when we do rotational dead ball throws, how many of my basketball girls can't rotate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Not an important skill for basketball, but from a health and longevity standpoint, you have to rotate.
Yep.
But
dude.
I mean, golf, because I could put a baseball on a tee, but that's where I want to start. And then from there, we'll just whatever. Gymnastics, probably. Yeah. I might try to sneak them into wrestling a year early.
That's your background, though, so why not?
Yeah, gymnastics just doesn't.
It's expensive.
That, and I can't coach
expensive. It's incredibly expensive.
So yeah, speaking of my kid, he went to the doctor yesterday to get some shots. The doctor said, even though your kid's not quite 2 yet, they're heavy enough and tall enough that you could consider making them front facing now. And I'm thinking in my head, like, he might have some hope to be 6'2", 6'3". Okay.
He might be JK, or he might be growing up his neighbor Brad Spann, who stopped growing in 6th grade when he was the tallest kid in our class.
or that, yeah, he could be 6 foot in the 3rd grade and never grow again.
Brad was 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. Yeah,
I don't think
He shut off in when he was in 6th grade. And it's
I don't think I've gotten any taller since the 8th grade.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I grew a little bit in high school, but I shot up from 8th grade to freshman year. I grew 7 inches. It's from a little fat dude to a bigger fat dude.
Yeah, Jeff, but you peaked at 18.
No, man.
Just like I did.
I don't know if I did or not.
Every time I hit a front double bicep overhead pose.
Oh, Jesus. Now he's talking. Oh, yeah. Bitches. Yeah, but I think if I could have played basketball one more year in high school, I think I would have been much better. All right, so my sophomore year of college, I took this Olympic weightlifting class that year.
Okay.
And my vertical went up like 8 inches. After this, I could dunk a ball with 2 hands. It was awesome. So I go back to play open gym because our high school team was pretty good at that time. I think they went to state the next year and won. No, they're 3rd in state, excuse me. But they had some really good players. A lot of them were like little brothers, from our group. But I remember like my hand was up on the box trying to block this kid, and he shot it right over my fingertips. And one of my buddies no, you cannot let the dogs in. They're nuts. I said so. Here. Anyway, my coach comes up to me after that, and it's like, "Where the hell was that at a few years ago?" I said, "I don't know, coach. I wish I had. I wish I had some eligibility now, though. It would have been a lot more fun to be able to jump around and do stuff like that,
Did you, when you went to college, did you know you wanted to go into? Well, you probably didn't know you wanted to be a strength coach, but were you always exercise science major?
No, I was criminal justice to start off. I thought it'd be super cool to be in the DEA. So I realized the DEA is the ones that are bringing the drugs in. So, and that changed really quick. I had this super, super hot teacher. She's law, criminal justice. It's the only reason I showed up to the classes because she was smoking hot. And then I realized that I was drinking too much. And I stopped going to that class for 4 weeks. And then I had to drop it because I would have failed it miserably. I had a bad drinking problem my first year of college. So anyway,
yeah,
criminal justice. Then they tried to push me into athletic training, and I realized how incredibly gay that job is. And then it's like, you know what? I could go be a PE teacher. That'd be kind of cool. Yes, you can play with Paw Patrol Play-Doh. Oh, yep, on the deck. Go ahead. Yeah, go.
Can you do that fast? Because I might be scared of that,
Okay? Be right back.
So you better come out there on the deck.
Okay, I got you, brother.
Okay.
I got you, brother. Thank you. Got you, bud. So I was going to go to physical education to be a PE teacher, and I realized I hated every single one of these people in my classes. So I was like, I don't want to be in this. But I was in a weightlifting class. It was called Intro to Weightlifting. And this really big dude, he was a TA in there. He was a thrower for the track team. He's like, and you like to lift weights as much as you do. Like, why don't you go try to be a strength coach? I was like, what? You can boss people around and tell them how to lift weights? Like, yeah. So that sounds super cool. So I kind of stuck with that, and I really didn't know what I was going to do until I got to Binghamton and got into it, and I really loved it. But I already had my degree was met before I left there because I was like the fitness guy for this. What the hell's that noise? You watching porn? I don't know that you're watching porn. I'll be right out. We're going to wrap this thing up. Anyway, I don't really remember where I was going with it. Oh, yeah, I was the strength coach for this for our police academy. So I just tortured these guys all summer and fulfilled my degree. But I told Brian at Binghamton I wanted to go out there and see what it was all about. So I did that, and it changed my life for the next 10 years. So there you go. And now 20 years because obviously I met my wife out there, and she still tolerates me.
Somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
I say the same thing. We say the same thing about my wife too.
Just puts up with you.
Our wives are convinced we're the same person.
Really?
Yeah. What are we doing? Oh, we're going to Alexander's birthday party. What? What are we doing? Oh, we're going to Louisville. Okay.
Shit. He's almost 2 too, isn't he? 4 months?
Closer to 5, but yeah.
Gotcha. Time's flying, man. Cool. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, bud, because I got a kid that wants to go play Play-Doh and throw shit all over the deck.
Well, is it the youngest or the third?
The youngest. He's a nut. He gets to play his flag football game today, and we'll see how he does. Last week, he got to hike the ball, but then realized that he doesn't stand up until the play is over. So he hikes it, and his head is still down in the same position for where he hiked it at until the whistle goes, and then he runs to where the ball's supposed to be after that. He doesn't know how to block.
It's flag football. It's like playing defense in basketball.
I'll take a video of it today, and I'll show you what I mean. But he stays in that down position. When they say down, he stays in the down position.
But blocking in flag football is like trying to play defense in basketball. You just kind of stay in front.
You just try to get in the way. Yeah. But Kai plays tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes, man. Got playoffs, play-in for playoffs because the team we've already beat, and he had a great week of practice until he got sick. So we'll see how he does.
I feel like what about Wyatt, or is he kind of done?
No, he was out of town because he's in Florida with mom, but he'll play next week. His team's undefeated. They just roll through teams. They beat this guy's last week 49-6, just to demolish them.
Just a bunch of war daddies, huh?
They can freaking play, man. I'm telling you that right now.
I have a feeling the youngest is going to be the war daddy.
Oh man.
No, man. But you're going with that one?
Yeah.
I was just picking the youngest one because the 2 out of the 3 older ones just pile on him all the time.
Yeah, third one's gonna be special. I mean that, man. I've said that for a couple of years. He's got all the intangibles.
Yeah.
He's madder than shit when things don't go his way. He hates to lose. He's not afraid to get hit. He made his first grade basketball team, which I've got myself wrangled into coaching. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, just remember, if anything ever goes wrong with the other coaches, remind them.
I can choke them out.
Remind them that you've choked out a coach on a field before during practice.
Oh yes. We'll see how basketball goes. I'm excited for that one. I've actually played basketball, so I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna run flex. We're gonna run the flex hard for these first graders. Okay, dude, what is your deal? You got zero patience for your Paw Patrol, this and that. Go back out there.
Man,
on the way.
Grandma and Grandpa didn't come help out this week?
No, Mom's up at her sister's reunion. So like 6 of them together, a bunch of hen party kind of thing up in Michigan somewhere, I think. They all get together every year. They go somewhere. And
Dad's probably at home tinkering with his car, driving too fast.
Hard to tell. Hard to tell what he's up to. Well, cool, man. Good talking to you, brother.
All right, have a good day.
About as disjointed as one could be, but I enjoyed it.
That's how we roll.